Hello everyone! Welcome to another episode of Reacting Reddit, where real humans read, react, and summarize trending content using posts and replies on Reddit. Today, we're going to be talking about the Conways, because there's some very intense, provocative stuff going on. The title actually here of this post is one of the more accurate titles I've seen, so let's get at this. A topless photo of Claudia Conway, age 16, was posted on her mom, Kellyanne Conway's Twitter account. This is an accurate statement, because if you look at a lot of the content about this subject, it'll say things like Kellyanne posted the photo purposefully, and while that is entirely possible, as we'll get into, we can't know that. So let's get into what we do know. And who are the Conways? Why is this relevant? Conways are a political family, okay? They are a divided political family. Basically, you got the mom, Kellyanne Conway, you got the dad, George Conway, and then you got the daughter, all right? Started out, both Republican parents, involved in politics, that's what they do. Trump comes around, and neither of them like Trump. But then Kellyanne Conway is like, fuck it, I can get a job, I can earn money, and talks to people about not liking Trump, but working for him and defending him because it's her job. And then George Conway absolutely hated Trump and actually left the Republican Party and formed a party called the Lincoln Party that was sole purpose was to reduce Trump's power, and they ended up endorsing Joe Biden for president. So that's quite the estranged Trump supporter there, to go from supporting Trump to making a whole party to get his power reduced, right? So needless to say, considering the wife was the campaign manager for Trump and the husband was a guy who left the party and made a party to fight Trump, that's conflict, right? That's a lot of conflict. And where does the daughter fall into this? Well, she's young and growing up and shouldn't have to deal with all this drama, but obviously there's a lot of drama. And as you can imagine, in the household, there's tension. And we shouldn't really know what the household's like, but a bunch of videos have been posted showing Kellyanne Conway like yelling and abusing the daughter. And it looks totally legit, like definitely looks real. Like that's what that kind of abuse at home is like. You just get yelled at over and over again, and eventually you, as the young person, you become like kind of numb, you know? So that you could tell that vibe was happening if you watch the videos, but that's not even the controversial thing. That was just a thing, and it was a big deal because, like, I guess like a week ago actually, Kellyanne, who's the mother, was in some of the videos. The daughter shared videos where Kellyanne was screaming and being really provocative and angry. Like, not like actual, like, violently hurting, but definite abuse, like definite emotional and mental abuse, but kind of the situation where, if the parents don't have a drug addiction, they don't have any one of the obvious things that the Child Protective Services like cares about, basically, it's really hard for them to do anything, especially when this family has a lot of political power. So it's complicated, definitely complicated. But so what people think happened is that the daughter posted this video to defame her mother and to increase the chance that the daughter can get emancipated, right? Because the daughter was like, all right, I'm going to show the world how much you're abusing me verbally and emotionally. And the daughter actually also made statements that she actually edited the videos to remove certain things, because one thing that's interesting about this is they totally hate each other, but also the daughter does seem to love her mom. Like, she makes comments that show like, yeah, she hates her and she doesn't want to live with her, but there's something there for her, right? And you can see that in the when the daughter talks about the video she made, she says things like, oh, she was really hesitant and wasn't sure if she should post it, and then she did post it, but wasn't sure if that was a good idea because she does like care about her mom, and she removed things that supposedly incriminated her mother from the video because she didn't want her mom to get in trouble, supposedly, according to her, right? So that's all the context before the event. So what is the event? Well, a day or two ago, a nude photo of the daughter shows up in Twitter, on the Twitter account of the mother, for a couple minutes before it's deleted. And if you know anything about the internet, a nude photo only has to be available for about like 30 seconds in a popular feed, and it's permanently online. So the fact that she deleted it just controls who sees it now immediately, but it doesn't mean that the photo's gone. It doesn't mean it's not circulating and spreading. It doesn't mean that you can't find it somewhere, right? So that's a big deal. Like a nude photo of your 16-year-old daughter showing up on your Twitter account, right? That's a problem. Now, the issue here is, how do you know what happened? Because there's a lot of different circumstances that could have happened. The mom, what most people talking and commenting say is that the mom did it out of vengeance because the girl posted the video showing the mom yelling at her like a week ago. So supposedly the topless photo was posted and deleted as revenge. But considering this mom is a politician, I personally don't really buy that a politician who's very aware of the media would willingly post her own daughter's nude. That seems like a remarkably dumb decision. I personally don't think, why would this person do that? Even if they're really hateful and spiteful, surely, considering they defend Donald Trump, like, they understand the media. What I believe is more likely is that this individual was hacked, and she's like, Kellyanne Conway is kind of malicious with her daughter. So it is possible that Kellyanne had nudes of her daughter that she had stolen from her daughter just in case she needed to get leverage on her daughter for some reason. Like, that matches their dynamic, at least if you look on the internet and you watch videos of them fighting and stuff, that matches the dynamic. So what's more probable is that a hacker hacked the phone and posted it to Twitter. I personally think that's more likely because famous people are getting hacked all the time. And it's not so easy to you can't just get someone's nudes and leak it now. You got to do it in an intense, provocative way for it to actually have political power and stuff. So it's totally possible that Kellyanne Conway had these photos on her phone, which in itself is a crime because the daughter is under 18. And then some other force, whether it was the daughter or a hacker, published that content. It's also possible, right, that the daughter put the photo on the phone and published it to defame her mother. That's possible. But I will say that the daughter has had a lot of... She's not purely hateful. Like, if you look at her social media, she seems quite genuinely scared of hurting her mom too much. Like, and if you look at some of the most recent social media posts, they're basically the daughter saying, I'm off of social media. I don't want my mom to go to jail. I don't want her to spend the rest of her life in jail. Like, she's horrible, but I just don't want to live with her. I want to be emancipated. I want to be my own person. It's complex, and it seems genuine. So I know this was a lot of context, but I wanted to get into this because the comments are all going to make it seem like it's very obvious that Kellyanne is a pedophile and that she was keeping her daughter's thing to blackmail her, and then that the political mom purposefully chose to post the photo on Twitter. Which I guess is true. Like, maybe it's possible that she posted the photo on Twitter in a moment of rage and then regretted it and deleted it. Either way, it was deleted quickly afterwards. So who knows, it's and like Kellyanne Conway, She's a person who defends Trump and tries to make him look good while making statements that is an impossible job. So we're talking about a person who is very capable of making something that's not true sound logical and true, which is important to keep in mind. Like, the mother's profession is to hide the lies and crimes of a major politician. So you could take this two ways, right? You could be like, well, she obviously knows what she's doing, so she would know better than to post a nude photo on her own Twitter account, because that's a crime. Or she's so detached from reality that she did it. I personally don't think she did it. I think that there was some kind of hack or something else. It really doesn't make sense to defame your daughter that way. Like, it's more likely from my perspective that she got hacked, or the daughter did it and regrets it. But I don't really think that that's likely, because the daughter seems cool, but she's also totally traumatized, and she's 16. Like, life is hard when you're 15 or 16. Life is overwhelming and emotional. And even if the daughter did something to the mother, that doesn't justify the mother's behaviors. It absolutely doesn't. Like, say that this whole thing, the daughter did it to the mom. I personally think that, okay, that's totally understandable, because the way that the mom's treating the daughter online, just, you can tell they fucking fight in social media. One of them's a politician, and she fights with her daughter on social media online. Like, whoa, what the hell? So let's finally get into the replies and comments. First thing is by Sergeant Donut, and it is, every single thing they accuse others of doing, they are doing themselves. Every accusation is an admission of guilt. This next post by Just a Lazy Gamer says, Twitter has still not banned her mom for doing this. All of her lies for the president weren't ban-worthy after all the claims of what she did with her daughter were ignored, and now child porn with no punishment. This is a perfect example of what happens when social media like Twitter lets the crazies fester on the platform. 3.3 million people had that on their feeds because Twitter allowed all the lies and actions from her until now. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. 3 million people got that nude. Even if you delete it, that doesn't mean that those people didn't see it. It also doesn't mean that the caching services that save everything on Twitter didn't notice them. And there's a ton of different services you can use that as soon as major people make posts and statements, it saves them. So even if the person on the platform itself edits the post or deletes it, it still exists and it's still everywhere. So yeah, learn how the internet works, guys. Moving on. Uriel238 says, what will be more interesting to me is if this isn't persecuted to the full extent of the law. Considering that district attorneys are glad to throw kids in jail for sexting to their paramours and the pic escaping. Usually both kids are convicted of distributing child porn, despite efforts to give kids some leeway to sext, because they're teenagers and they have smartphones. But now we've watched for decades as the affluent are immune to the laws used to fill our prisons with warm bodies. More warm bodies than any other nation in the world. Yeah, USA, land of throwing people in jail. What? Nonsensical Criticism says, why aren't they held liable for hosting child pornography? I mean, Pornhub almost got shut down for that. Yeah, it's complicated. This happened like a day ago, so they're going to get in trouble. That's the reality is the mom will get in trouble, but it's a bit complicated when something gets like deleted. Because like for liability wise, if you delete something very quickly after you make it, it's much easier to make the argument that it was a mistake or something, or that you like uploaded the wrong photo or whatever. Yeah, uploading the wrong photo and accidentally sending a nude is a pretty big mistake, and I don't know if that's the case here. I'm not saying it is, but like just calling this an obvious case of hosting child pornography it's not that simple. You have to prove that they were hosting child pornography, and with anything to do with sex or pornography, sometimes it can be really hard to prove stuff. Like in order to prove, you need to be able to prove the mom knew about the photo, she had the photo on her phone on purpose, and that she's the one who distributed the photo. You have to prove all of those things in order for the mom to get in trouble. And it's totally possible to prove those things. I'm not saying that she is guilty or she isn't. I'm just saying that we shouldn't talk about things that we don't know as if we know who's guilty. Yeah, it looks pretty damning that the mom's a shitty person and a bad mother. But does that mean she's guilty of purposefully posting a nude of her own daughter as revenge? I don't know. I don't know if maybe she's just that shitty, right? But we shouldn't assume that her mother is such a horrendous person that she would get revenge on her daughter by posting a nude of her own daughter. Like, that shouldn't be the assumption we make until it's proven to us, basically. And especially with the daughter saying, hey, I don't want my mom to jail. I don't want her to get into a lot of trouble. Like, the daughter's talking out, kind of defending her mom a bit now, which makes it quite interesting because it's not as like black and white as it appeared to be before. Bangin' Leavin' says, at this point, shouldn't something have happened already? It's only been a day or two. Lala Lo Poplet says, posting a nude of your daughter on Twitter to own the libs. In all seriousness, what a horrible person, and I'm so sorry she has to have her as her mom. Again, we don't know. All we know is that a nude of the daughter was posted. We can't assume that she did it willingly. I mean, that seems like a remarkably dumb decision. Really remarkably dumb decision. Jerk Roll Attack says, how does she still have custody of her kids? Who has a topless picture of their teenage daughter? Well, regarding the first sentence regarding custody of kids, I think a lot of people in these comments don't realize that it's actually hard to lose your kids if you're not a drug addict. Like, if you don't have an obvious violence problem or an obvious drug addiction, even if you didn't have money, it's kind of hard for them to take your kid away. Let alone a political family like the Conways with tons of money and influence. I don't know why you guys are surprised that she still has custody over her daughter. There's tons of people who don't deserve custody of their kids that have custody of their kids. The way the US works is if you have a drug addiction, then they take your kids away. If you don't have a drug addiction and you have money, you can basically do whatever the fuck you want. And as some of these elite pedophile rings have shown us, people do, right? Like, there are real people who abuse kids and get away with it all the time. That's a thing. I'm not saying that's happening all the time, but we have people in jail right now that prove that was happening and that a lot of wealthy were part of it. Like, that's a real thing. I'm not saying QAnon is real, but that part was real. Like, there's reason that these people are in jail for, like, solicitation of minors and stuff. Like, it's real. Like, that happens. And believe it or not, a lot of people who don't deserve to take care of their children because they abuse their children, they still have their kids, and the only reason they have their kids is because they don't have a drug addiction. Like, if you live in the US and you think that CPA successfully takes kids away from abusive families who don't have drug addictions or problems with violence, you're wrong. They basically only take kids away if there's drug addictions or problems with violence. You have to really F up for CPA to take your kid away when there's not violence and there's not drug addiction, even if there's a lot of emotional violence or emotional manipulation and all that stuff, because that part is very, very, very easy to hide from any inspector who comes into the house, unfortunately. All They Eat Is Lettuce says, assuming all parties could agree, I kind of want Dolly Parton to petition the court for guardianship of Claudia until she's 18. That would be cool. I like Dolly Parton a lot. 9 to 5 for life. Southern Peach 101 says, her mom is retaliating because Claudia posted a video on TikTok asking for help of her mom beating her. This does not surprise me. Yeah, that's the thing that the daughter supposedly edited out things that indicate any kind of violence. So it's hard to know, like, is the daughter actually getting violently abused in some cases, or... I will say that the way that Kellyanne yells and the way she fights, that is the way that women who can violently abuse sound. Like, they have a tone of voice to their voice. And I'm just saying that as a person I wasn't abused by my family, but I was in situations where I was abused and verbally abused and hit and stuff. And the way that Kellyanne was yelling and the kind of animosity in her voice, that's the tone of females who could hit you. I don't know if she would. I'm not saying she did, but I'm just saying that tone felt familiar to me. Moving on. Gloomy Highlights 675 says, I follow her daughter on TikTok, and it's so sad nothing is being done to help this girl. I found out her dad was head of the Lincoln Project, and he basically walked out on them. On a Serpent's Tongue says, I feel bad for this girl. Her parents very clearly put themselves first and have a very public history of family drama. Here's to hoping she is able to get emancipated. Potted Nye says, can we get this locked up already? Why would she even have a topless photo of her daughter? This woman is messed up on so many levels. Again, we can't make all these assumptions. Like, exactly, that's the point. Why would she have a topless photo of her own daughter? That's the thing that should make you be like, wait, maybe there's more going on here than it's just simple revenge. Because I want to believe, I know, I hate politicians. Really, I do. I'm frustrated with them, whether they're Republican or Democrat. I get very irritated. I don't like the things that the U.S. has done in the past. Blah, 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 blah. My point's that even I don't think it's ever right to just, like, I want to believe that this politician knew better than to fuck themselves over and fuck their daughter over. Politicians are very good at doing things to put themselves in their best interests, in the best position they can be in, to the point of extreme selfishness. That's her job. That's what this person does professionally. So I don't think it makes any sense at all that a person like that would willingly post a nude of their own daughter. There's no way that can help. No way. Absolutely no way. Unless Kellyanne is seriously that deprived. But personally, I don't think so, because it contradicts the fact that she's a politician and she's self-interested. She wouldn't do that if she was really that self-interested, right? Unless she just has that little self-control, which is possible, but there's going to be more to this, I'm pretty sure. Mudeb says, so under 18 is child pornography, right? I mean, that sounds illegal. And it's something I know we would get punished for. Actually, if you posted a naked photo of your daughter on social media, on Twitter, and deleted it, you might not get in trouble. Just because people might not have noticed it. We're talking about very popular political figures with loads and loads and loads of people following them, right? Yeah, it's not that simple. It's not as black and white as people are saying it is, unfortunately. Lung Aqua says, have the authorities been notified? I don't care whose finger slipped and hit send. The kid should be removed from the home during an in-depth investigation by CPS. Welcome to another person who thinks CPS is very effective at doing their job. Reputable Sorcerer says, QAnon is constantly talking about the secret cabal of elites into child pornography, but when there is indisputable proof, they stay silent. Well, okay. The indisputable proof is the guy who's already in jail. Like, do you guys know about that guy? Like, if you just Google child pornography island, right? Then you learn about a bunch of people, right? I'm gonna say the name, Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein. There's loads of proof about a big cabal of elites into child pornography. Like, that's real. That's a real thing. QAnon is fucking crazy. But that QAnon takes things that are real and then adds way more to them and makes them unreal. But the cabal of elites into child pornography, That's real, and that was basically, I'm not saying that's not happening now, I don't know, but Jeffrey Epstein was a major player in that cabal of elites into child pornography. That's actually true. So, yeah, that's a real thing. But that's old news, I guess? I don't know. Joyful Soul says, when Claudia first posted emails about her mother, I was here for it because it confirmed what a vile person her mother is. But after the last video of abuse and this has gone way too far. And I feel like a voyeur to someone's abuse and suffering. This girl needs help, and it's sad to see that it's being handled through social media. Does anyone know of a GoFundMe or something to help her emancipate herself from her parents? Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Or Oristic Prolixicity is replying to someone else and saying, you were literally asking for pictures of a minor. Submissions containing or depicting violence against children to include, but not limited to, scantily dressed children in provocative poses, children being harmed, children who appear to have been harmed or have suffered sexual abuse, sexualizing children, drawings, renderings, or adults intending to be depicted as children. So if you as an adult can successfully convince people you're a kid and then you sell that product and it's convincing, it's illegal child porn even if everyone in it was of age. Interesting. That's probably important because it means that you can't have like abuse people to make fake child porn that looks like real child porn. So that's good. That's definitely good. But this is a relevant comment because it points out that even if you're just topless, you're scantily dressed. That's actually mentioned in this clause. So yeah, I was wondering about that earlier. I was like, at what point is it porn? Because like, I mean, tons of moms love showing naked photos of their 3-year-old kids to their friends and shit. Is that child porn? I mean, obviously, no, it's not, because tons of people do it and it's not sexual. That being said, it's a naked photo of a child, right? So it's complicated. This is a really complicated subject. Keep the Blue Stub said, okay, conspiracy time. Do you think it's possible that CC has more than just this one nude photo and that KAC has been breaking into her phone for years to steal them so she can give them to DJT, Trump, a suspected pedophile who hangs around with known pedophiles? This one accidentally got sent as a fleet instead of a direct message because DJT has now been banned. To be clear, I have zero evidence of this. No. Okay, I'm just gonna go forward. That's bullshit. That's just people online being like, oh, what if this crazy shit happened, even though I have no reason to think this? No, exactly. Gary's Teeth says, I hope Kellyanne gets hers, but the girl kind of slipped a bit in the second video. She said, I don't think I sent it to anyone. That's some cold, weird shit, keeping photos of your naked underage daughter. Again, we don't know that she was doing that. Southern Peach 101 says, I know we're talking crap about Republicans, but remember, her dad also founded the Lincoln Project. She has said in videos he beats and verbally abuses her too. He also enables Kellyanne's behavior. This is a story about child abuse going unnoticed. Let's not forget. If you know why this person is bringing up the Lincoln Project like that, from what I understand, the Lincoln Project's actually kind of an interesting, like, from what I know reading about it, its purpose was to fight against Trump and not even to, like, become a major political party. Its purpose was to reduce Trump's power through whatever way possible. And then they endorsed Joe Biden. So, like, I don't know, because this person's like, okay, they're talking crap about Republicans, but then talking crap about the Lincoln Project? And I'm confused by that, because I guess maybe I don't know some of the controversy about the Lincoln Project. So if you do, comment below. Educate me. Bench Pressing Cthulhu says, I think it's possible, but the more I learn about what their relationship was like, the more I think it's also possible that the mom just did something really stupid to spite her daughter. I absolutely think it should be looked into by the authorities, and it probably is by now. Just hope it goes somewhere. Yeah, who knows, everybody? I think her daughter hacked into Kellyanne's account and posted it. She probably saw her phone laying around and posted her nude, trying to get her mom to go to prison. She's nuts. I don't think the daughter's nuts. The daughter is just a regular 15, 16-year-old going through a hard time at home. Like, she doesn't have support from her parents. Social media is a thing. She's really popular, even though she's not, like, old and wise and experienced. Even if the girl does this, like, even if this turns out to be what happened, the girl hacked her mom's phone, posted the nude on her mom's phone. Even if that's what happened, I personally think that's pretty understandable. Like, that's not, it's crazier for a fully grown political adult to do something crazy. You can call her nuts, right? She knows better. Whereas the younger person, I mean, what were you like when you were 15? You know? It's hard. Like, it's intense. And I personally don't think the daughter's that nuts. It sounds like she just doesn't have a supportive family, you know? And, like, yeah, she shouldn't be using social media all the time, but she's realizing that. She's, like, making statements about getting off social media and not wanting her mom to go to jail and crap. And, like, yeah, it's interesting. Atomic Bonanza says, well, this is super up. But do we think it's possible that Claudia, in her desperation to get away from her mother, took her phone and posted it herself? Bourne says, let's assume this is true. Why hasn't she gotten her daughter's help then? Not to mention, even Kellyanne says she posted the photograph. Dang, wait, did she really say that? Yeah, okay. I don't know if that's true. Lemon Meringue says, Kellyanne Conway's entire career is media. There is no way this is an accident. You have to work to use the new Fleet feature on Twitter, which is where she intentionally posted that picture. Yeah, so, okay, I agree with the first half of this. Kellyanne Conway's career is media. She wouldn't have done it by accident. Yeah, I totally agree with that part. If Kellyanne did it, it was on purpose. And it could have been the daughter doing it. It could have been Kellyanne. Who knows? But I personally would be surprised if it was the mother. I think it's more likely it was actually like a hacker or something, but who knows? Sam Vega says, but I wouldn't put it past her daughter to post it as a means to frame her. And I also wouldn't put it past an anonymous Redditor to say this based on no evidence whatsoever. The problem with unfounded doubt is that anyone can make it. Free Ticks to Ford's Theater says, the image that was uploaded based on a cropped version that only shows just above the daughter's face shows that the image was uploaded was a boomer screenshot, e.g. somebody took a picture of Claudia's phone with the image open on Claudia's phone. That's complicated, because that's relevant, but it's hard to understand why that's relevant. Because, like, say that you had access to both phones, you wouldn't need to transfer the image by taking a screenshot. People take screenshots of images when they're trying to make a photo out of a temporary photo. So, like, imagine that somebody shares something on Snapchat, then you can make a screenshot of that image on Snapchat before it expires, and that's a boomer screenshot. That's what this guy's talking about. So it's a bit confusing that it would be there, because that's something that's basically, like, usually it's just done with Snapchat. So, like, you might do that if somebody Snapchatted you the image, and then you took the photo. So, like, that could hint at that Snapchat was used to transfer the media from one phone to another. Possible, but who knows? Lemon Meringue says, she's traumatized as Q jerk. Imagine your mother telling you that you're an asshole, and luckily she didn't abort you. Screeching in your face that you're ruining her life when you're only 15. Try for a second to put yourself in that child's place and rethink your terrible opinion. Bye. Yeah, I agree with this statement. Like, you gotta really, even if the daughter is doing this, it's very obvious that the daughter doesn't have a good home situation and she's traumatized. So, like, I feel for her. I really do. Just a Lazy Gamer, the original poster, says, the mom was recently shown on video abusing her daughter, who is trying to get emancipated from her due to the abuse. She was Donald Trump's campaign manager and was deeply involved in a lot of false claims that came from his administration. Jack Hectic says, this seems like something you're really looking for feedback on, given that you posted it in 4 separate places. It made me wonder if you were a bot or something. The child is under 18 and thus could not consent to producing child porn. The mother is over 18. Come on, dude. This is why statutory rape is a thing. Even if someone under 18 consents, they are not of the age to consent because they are not fully mature. But the adult is of age to consent, is mature, and thus should know better than to engage with a minor because they should know better. The entire fault for the situation falls on the adult. Facts are meaningless without context. Yeah, totally true. Free Ticks to Ford's Theater said, the mother took a picture on Claudia's phone with the image open on Claudia's phone. That is production. So you're looking at possession of child porn, creation of child porn, and distribution of child porn, plus any revenge statuses that may be applicable as well. Well, yeah, this is complicated because we're painting a picture where the mom, sent out a sex video of her 15-year-old daughter getting fucked as revenge, and okay, that obviously should be treated differently. I don't want to defend the mom unnecessarily, but we shouldn't use words that explain very graphic scenes, right? If you read these comments, you're gonna think that the mother literally posted revenge porn, posted videos of their own kid fucking. Right? That is next level bad. A nude photo's bad, but I mean, especially a nude topless photo where it's it's just boobs and you're young. I mean, not gonna lie, a lot of photo albums have naked pictures of girls at the beach and stuff when they're 13 or 14. They don't have boobs really. I mean, when I went to family events, sometimes I saw naked chests of girls who were like that. Does that mean I watch child porn? Right? This is what makes this such a tricky subject, and we shouldn't be so fast to judge it or assume that we know what's happening just because we read some stuff online, right? I Am Dwight Snoot said, so the daughter could get in more trouble than her mother. The daughter produced child porn, the mother distributed it. Well, underage self-production, while illegal, isn't usually charged heavily for obvious reasons. Distribution is generally where real charges come in, especially since this is also revenge porn too, and that breaks more laws. Yeah, that's debatable. That was controversial and long. Wow. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you want more of this kind of content, please reach out to us. Get our email address from our YouTube channel. We are looking for more content creators. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time, effort, and attention, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.